guys, I just watched the fifth Jennifer Lawrence film that I'm going to be talking about, and as you guys can tell by the title, that is Red Sparrow. And now this film is directed by Francis Lawrence, but you must be thinking, Francis Lawrence? That's a name we've heard before. And you'd be right, guys, that's the same guy that directed the Hunger Games films that we just talked about last week. Although this is a very different film, and I'll get into that in a bit. So, this film is about Dominica, who is a Russian dancer, and she actually has a career ending injury which ends up in her breaking her leg. And basically, the plot of the film is very similar to the origin of Black Widow if you are a Marvel fan and you've read the comics. So basically, she gets trained in this society called the Sparrow School. And basically, what they do, they train young people, both women and men, to use their body for seduction and interrogation, pretty much. So they get trained pretty much on to get secrets and like government plans and stuff from non-lethal uses of force. However, saying that, this film is very violent and very disturbing. This film was very controversial when it came out back in 2018, I think it was. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, overall, my overall thoughts on this film, I really love this film. I think some people don't really understand the message that it's trying to be, because talking about the controversial stuff, there are actually two scenes which have implied rape in it, and that's not something nice that I want to talk about, but with this film, I think I might have to. So basically, in this film, obviously, we see Jennifer Lawrence going from this beautiful dancer, she has this lovely career and all these friends and everything, and then she gets sent to this horrible place run by the KGB, and she gets forced to do loads of stuff that she hates, and you can kind of imagine sort of the stuff that they make her do in this film, and those scenes are disgusting, and it's really hard to watch. It's probably a negative for this film already, but she learns from her mistakes in this film, and as I mentioned, she wasn't a violent person, but she really becomes like a monster towards the end of this film. Not like a bad person, like she's obviously the good guy, and she's the hero of her own story in this film, basically, guys. And during the second rape scene, I think it actually is, she actually nearly kills the guy with like a shower plug. It's such a thrilling scene to watch, because from the first scene, she obviously, it's awful really what happens, but she like stands up for herself. And the whole film has this really good tone of like women being powerful and equal rights and all the rest of it. And I really like that this film goes for that, because obviously now that's been obviously mainstream, that is great, and I'm really all for that. But for this character to see her go from A to B just like that is amazing. And there's a really great scene actually where she uses her training when she's actually with Joel Edgerton, who is also another main character in this film. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Joel Edgerton is great in this film. He plays a character called Nate Nash, I think. That sounds like a superhero. And basically, he's getting tortured by this guy that actually saves Jennifer Lawrence in the first scene. And he's getting like his skin peeled, and oh, it's disgusting. But basically, she kind of lies and sort of joins in on torturing. I know this sounds really weird, but she actually like turns and kills the guy who's torturing. It's so cool the way she like acts from different sides, because she's obviously Russian. Her accent in this film is amazing, by the way, and she acts from like working from the Russians to working with the Americans. And there's all this oh, by the way, this film was a really good supporting cast, by the way. There's a character called I can't remember what his name is, but he's played by Jeremy Irons. And this is sort of getting to what I'm talking about now. She when she's with the Russians, Jeremy Irons is normally with her. And there's actually a great plot twist. Spoilers, by the way, guys. He's actually the rat in Russia, basically, that Joel Edgerton is trying to find out and rescue, pretty much. And just the way she goes from acting with the Americans and acting with the Russians, obviously, is just fantastic. And there are some quite shocking scenes in this, of course, guys. The pacing in this film could be a little bit better. That's another gripe that I have with this film. But apart from that, the shocking scenes like are really riveting. Like that action in it is very like full forward. It gets turned up to 11 in some scenes. There's a really great scene where she actually sort of bribes this Russian woman of Congress, and she ends up getting hit by a truck because these guys start running after her. Oh, it's horrifying, the stuff that happens. And pretty much the whole reason why Jennifer Lawrence's character is doing this is because of her evil cousin, basically. And it's all because her mum is ill and she can't pay for the bills. So obviously this is why she's working for the KGB. And pretty much in the end, the evil cousin gets shot in the head, and it's one of the most satisfying endings ever, because instead of Jeremy Irons getting found out as the rat, sorry, it Jennifer Lawrence throughout the film plots different things, and it ends up turning on him, and he's the one that gets killed at the end, because they have like a bag on his head, and it's like Black Ops 2. It's like a trade-off sort of, and that scene is just phenomenal. And as I mentioned, Francis Lawrence does a great job with this film, as he did with the Hunger Games films. And James Newton Howard, the man, is back with the soundtrack. And it is a little bit samey, I will say, but overall, when the scenes are like really intense, there's like quite a few torture scenes, obviously, as I've mentioned. It makes you on the edge of your seat. It really does, guys. Everyone in this performance, Jennifer Lawrence, Joel Edgerton, Jeremy Irons, I can't remember who else is in this film. It's a very enclosed story. It's a very personal story, this. And it's actually based on a book from Jason Matthews, I'm pretty sure. And he was an ex-KGB member, I believe. And there's actually a sequel to this film in, obviously, a novel form. So I really hope they make a sequel to this. Overall, I'd probably give this film an 8 to a 9 out of 10. Action-packed romance adventure, some very disturbing scenes. But what did you guys think of Red Sparrow? Let us know down below. And don't forget to be out on the look for my review of the next Jennifer Lawrence film that I will be doing called Joy. It's a good one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.